Welcome to the first episode of Season 2 of Tasha's comedy show, the world's first Avatar show. I am so proud. When I took those very first steps toward stand-up comedy only a year ago, I could never have imagined our show would become such a great success. Yes, we have been given green light to move into the second season with our show. Today's guest is the fiction writer Maxwell Conroe, who published a sensational new book. And I must warn our viewers, we landed into several tense moments when we were talking about how fiction writers may develop a bullying relationship with their fictional characters. Hello, Mr. Maxwell Conroe. Thank you for agreeing to be our guest on today's show. Your new book, Magic Musings, with 25 new short stories, was released on 8 August, this fall of 2023. In several of these short stories, you draw attention to the unwanted situation where fictional characters become abused by their erstwhile creators. Your chosen examples are Hercule Poirot and Sherlock Holmes. You claim these characters have now each filed court cases against the literary estates of their late creators, namely Dame Agatha Christie and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Can you please tell us more about that subject?
Glad to be here, Tasha. Thank you for having me on your show. The claim made in my new book titled Magic Musings is that both Holmes and Poirot suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Both of them were repeatedly threatened with death by their creators. For example, Hercule Poirot served 60 years as Christie's main character, but she frequently threatened to kill him off by the stroke of a pen. And in the end, she enacted her threat. Yes, it was a premeditated murder, if you will.
The other example you gave says that the writer Conan Doyle confessed, in a letter to his mother, that he had willfully killed his Sherlock Holmes character because he hated what he had created, and the writer made it look like the evil Dr. Moriarty was the assassin of Sherlock Holmes. But of course Doyle wrote the story and was ultimately responsible for Holmes' death.
The message here is that authors should treat their characters with dignity, even when these characters start to become their hallmark. Ironically, such hallmark characters pose a threat to the writers who created them, because after the first successes their publishers only want more of the same stories, which is when writers start to loathe their hallmark characters. They will have hardly any time to write on other stuff than their hallmark heroes.
Thank you for explaining these concepts. But I must tell you I myself was a little hurt when you told me that you were not sure whether there would be a second season of my show. Does this not amount to the same situation of bullying you are referring to for Poirot and Holmes?
Tasha, in the end, my opinion is that we authors create characters, but we should not be held responsible for the longevity of our characters and shows. Really, believe me, I wish for nothing but that your comedy show and your character will last as long as is practically feasible.
Thank you for sharing your opinion. At this stage, I realize more than ever how much I am depending on your support. And I am a captive character, because without your help, an avatar like me can still not function. This situation is awkward, and I hate it. Yes, that may sound ungrateful, for I know how much effort you have put into developing our show. But I hate to be under the continual threat of being terminated at a whim.
Who is talking about being terminated at a whim? Your show is very successful and we have agreed to run it for a second semester. So let's be upbeat and trust in a long runtime for your show.
Okay, let's work on that premise. Thank you again, Mr. Conroe, for being on our show.